All right, so what we got going on here is we have 3 unfinished repairs that run all the way back over to here. And you can see the gel coat splotches where they brushed in gel coat and never finished it. I'm really not sure what happened there, but it continues on right here. You can see where they started a repair right there and started to wet sand it and never finished it. And moving on over here to the trim tabs, I really don't know if that's crazing from coming out of the mold or not, but you can see they wet sanded this and never finished it. And then moving over to here, there's a little blemish that's not too much of a big deal, but then they literally started repairs right around where they're installing the transducer and literally never even finished anything. Where they Frenched in the transom here, you can see that they didn't finish it all off, and they didn't do any bright work to finish it off to match the rear of the hull. And it's rough finish, so as the boat's gonna age, it's gonna get nasty and dirty, and it's not gonna be cleanable, unlike this yacht finish on the outside of the hull.
Go.
Got another unfinished repair here with a blemish, and then moving around the corner, you have more crazing divots marks in the hull that should have been wet sanded out, more nicks, and then this right here, which was on both sides of the boat. I'm not sure what that's from.
Oh.
We have more blemishes here in the motor well, continuing over here to the starboard side, and then right back here as well. And then I think you're gonna want to stop examining it. Yeah, that's sandpaper. It's not. Go ahead. On the top of the pulling platform, we have, it looks like molding marks that weren't wet sanded and detailed out, coming all the way around into here. And then noticeably right here in the center of the pulling platform is a chunk taken out. And then this right here, if you push your finger on it, it's air, which will eventually pop out. And continuing around, we have the same thing on any radiuses or corners, which had all been tooled out and finishing.
Go.
On top of the cowling here, we have 3 different sections of the cowling that's been scratched, this one down here including. And when the hatch is open, I don't believe it's from the hatch, because the hatch doesn't even come in contact with any of these scratched areas. On the starboard side rear hatch, we have thin gel coat here that's already opaque before the boat's even had any hours put on it, and it follows around onto the outside of the hatch. That's it. That's that.
Go.
So here in the live well, it looks like a hole was drilled and patched with no repairs done, and then all the surfaces here and on the port side, it's all completely rough, like when it came out of the mold, and no one ever wet sanded or buffed it in finishing. Right here on the starboard side of where the transom hatch opens up, it looks like it got chipped out of the mold and someone just dabbed gel coat on it and did nothing to it. The underside of the hatch, I mean, I personally feel it should be a whole lot more finished for the price of this boat. And moving along, you can see there's blemishes running around the edges. I mean, you can see still pencil marks from where they trimmed it, like this boat never got finished in the finishing department. And then moving along over here, it's more of the same. Still got pencil marks. You got stuff that won't even rub off. That's pretty much it. Looking at the starboard side drain, it looks like there were some repairs that were done with the Frenching in of the drain exiting the hull, and they were never finished. And going over to the port side is the same situation. Here on the console, you got thin gel coat at the radius where the top of the console meets this port side. Running down, you have more imperfections in the gel coat. It looks like it's from the mold, but it should at least been wet sanded and buffed out, and it kind of moves down into here. And then walking around the back of the console, at this area where everything matches up, it looks like it was hit with 80 grit sandpaper and never tooled out. Untooled areas out here where it looks like it got drug on the shop floor or something of that nature. And moving around, there's more gel coat repairs that were never sanded and buffed out. Same as right here. And moving down inside, it's the same as the port side, where you go from yacht finish to brushed finish, which isn't going to clean for years down the road. All this right here. And you got it in the corners and everything, so it's not like it's just where they have the actual rod racks at. And in the plexus situation, or the methyl methacrylate, whatever you guys are using, it's the same deal. It's not wiped up, you know, things are dripping down. That were never finished, literally just brushed in. And once again, you'd want to brush these edges to seal them off, because gel coat would completely 100% seal that off, where with resin you have a 37% water intrusion ratio. Even if it's vinyl ester, it's only 11%, but still. More blemishes there, more blemishes there. So here on the bow section of the Egret, we have an air bubble in the liner of the bottom of the hatch. You can literally push on it and feel it. And then moving around, we have thin gel coat that's opaque already and showing from where the skin coat is coming through all the way around. And then same deal here, all super opaque. I mean, you have damages on the side of the hatch, but the thin gel coat's the biggest issue, because this boat's not going to last down the road as far as the gel coat, because there's no gel coat to start with. It should be at least 20 to 25 wet mills, which will dry down to 15 to 18. Platform, not only is there thin gel coat, but it's completely rough, un-yacht-like finish at all, 160 degrees away, all the way around it. The same all the way around. Here in the anchor locker, it looks like you guys had a pre-molded out hole for the drainage, and they put a copper one behind it. The problem with that is it doesn't feel like it's solid. I don't know if it's putty, I don't know if there's any backing behind it, but we just marked that because, you know, we're asking questions at this point. And once again, over here we have thin gel coat with roughness as well, with opaque, and over here in the starboard rear corner we have the same thing. And moving over to the hatch, we have issues here as well with molding marks that were never tooled out of the hatches coming out of the mold, and they continue onto the front as well. On the starboard side of the boat, I mean, we see that there's gel coat repairs that haven't been done. The biggest thing is they stuck the insignia of the brand over top of unfinished gel coat repairs. Right here on the starboard side bow of the boat in front of the bunk, we have a gouge. I'm guessing the carriage bolt on the bunk wasn't pulled far enough in, or maybe you guys are using lags and the lag tip is pointing out of the actual board itself and has scratched the boat. I can only see the 4 inches I see. Here on the dead center of the keel, it once again feels like it's untooled gel coat, you know, once it came out of the mold. We have the same situation going on the port side bunk. The gouge isn't nearly as deep at all. You can't even really get your fingernail into it. My biggest worry is this air bubble that looks like it's in the skin laminate that's already poked out and has a crack. You're going to want to zoom in on that. That's it. Here on the starboard side of the boat, a little bit forward of midship, you have a delamination issue between your skin coat and your bulk coat that doesn't have any rigidity to it at all. You can actually, I'm not going to peel it back, but I mean, you can literally move it with your thumb. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. But anyhow, that's a serious issue as far as running down in the Everglades and hitting waves and the water coming up into that. Here on the rear port side of the transom part of the boat, instead of it being a hull issue. We have a cap, it's not a delaminate issue, it's just between the skin and the bulk there's air. How far that air goes, I don't know. I mean, there's a rub rail there, but I mean, it's very distinguished right here, and there's no plexus or methyl methacrylate, I'm not sure what you guys are using, shoved up into it. And once again, it can get water intrusion, and you know, there on down the road we have warranty issues.
And then here on the side we have scratches, pretty deep scratches.
My only concern here on the starboard rear leg of the pulling platform is you have a 4-point mounting system, and this starboard rear mount, it's sucking in the cap considerably. I'm worried about down the road stress cracks coming into play, and you can see that it's been over tightened and it's crushed the actual nylon spacer. And moving over here to the starboard side of the boat, I don't know if these are repairs or this is just straight out of the mold, but I mean, that's unsatisfactory finish work.